Hi, Mihira, Daphne here. Thank you for sending in your final essays just before your exam. Really good to hear from you, and great to get a refresher before you go into the exam. So this is a difficult letter, isn't it? So with this very important, nice, respectful style, and it's someone who you know, so you've got that absolutely right, dear John. Because it's somebody you know, I wouldn't put yours faithfully at the end. I put regards. Yeah, make sure the ending matches the beginning. This is really important. Regards, and then Mihira, that's fine. I hope this letter finds you in the pink of health. Um, you may have learned that at school, but we wouldn't use that. Um, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that in English. It's one of those funny expressions that people learn, but actually we don't use. So I would just say it finds you well, and you could say it was great to see you last week with your new pet, Sandy. Yeah. If you do something like this, it does two things. It shows that you know him, he's your neighbour, and it also introduces the idea of the dog. Um, because yes, you can have this. I'm writing in regards to your pet Sandy is fine, but you see how here we've linked the two ideas together. Um, so I'd like to bring your attention about the dog Sandy being a constant disturbance in the apartment, and to me in specific. Right. So capital letter for the dog there. Being a constant disturbance in the apartment. And specifically, and you could have here, and unfortunately, specifically, comma to me. Okay, and do it that way. Okay. After a tiring day at work last week, while I lay down in my room for a relaxing night, it started barking continuously for 2 hours straight, comma here, which caused me. So you cause somebody caused me to lose sleep and also results in bad performance the next day at the office. Absolutely, that's not okay. Well done, good paragraph. Although you don't need you don't need a comma there. Although I find it now you need this is the dog. Although I find your cute pet very joyful and innocent most of the time, so we're putting in some nice word, cute, like it's quite informal. Situations as these are increasing each day and creating an issue to the entire floor. Good. Therefore, I suggest you. No, we can't suggest you to either, please. Okay. Uh, you take out two. Okay, I suggest you either please use an anti-bark collar on the dog at night and weekdays to ensure barking is controlled, and we can have a peaceful night. Um, you don't need that; it's just getting a bit too long. Or she or the dog, it could be kept, and I'd use could. It's a little bit more soft. Could be kept in a kennel during the weekdays so our schedules uh, don't get affected. Now, instead of don't get, just use aren't affected. Aren't affected. Okay. I hope this is taken in a positive way and will good, and look forward to hearing from you just on a new line. Well done. That is a super letter. Good work there. You've got the balance of that absolutely right. Just a few little things. Now, watch out the spelling there. Affected is the verb, and effect, an E is the noun. I'm going to put those in red, so just watch out for those. Otherwise, really nice, Mihira. Good. So you've got the green energy essay. This is lovely for vocabulary, isn't it? So, energy is the major driving force around the world. Major driving force of the world. Um, Nations are looking at alternative sources to fulfill the power needs, which is, although cost-effective and eco-friendly, argued makes countries insecure. I disagree to it. Okay, careful. No, let's just keep this simple. Energy is the major driving force of the world, and nations are looking at alternative sources to fulfill their power needs, um, which you don't need that yet, which, although cost effective and eco friendly, uh, it is argued You don't need that actually. Although cost-effective and eco-friendly could also make countries energy insecure. Right, it's this is difficult. I disagree to it. Don't have that yet. This, as we will discuss, the benefits of moving away from unnatural sources and also potential problems related to it with relevant examples. Okay. You're not moving away from unnatural, you're moving towards natural. Yeah? Green energy is becoming more prevalent. Some say it's a good thing, and others think they're dangerous. They're only dangerous in that there's not enough of them. I think this is the issue here. Could make countries energy insecure. I think energy insecure. So I support the idea of a move towards renewable supplies and this essay. Okay, just make it very clear where your opinion stands on something like this, and then because this I disagree to it. I disagree to what? It's a bit confusing here. Okay, so paragraphs. That's a very clear paragraphs. On the one hand, there's ample evidence that green energy leads is cheaper. Hang on, green energy green energy supplies or sources and it's are cheaper. So plural verb there, are cheaper and cause less damage to the environment and is gaining popularity rapidly. Okay, now what's happening here is that your sentence structure is a bit confused. You've got lots of verbs going on. Just keep it simple. Have your noun, like your subject, and then your verb. Yeah, green energy sources. That is your noun. Are is your verb cheaper, and causes environmental damage, and are, so it's plural, the sources, still same verb, are gaining popularity rapidly. This is your subject. Okay, all that is your subject. So this is your verb, are. Okay, and then this is your next verb, are gaining. Okay. So the sentence is a bit confused otherwise in terms of how many verbs and nouns you've got going on. The central reason for this is, now here's your verb, is that they are naturally available to us and easily replenished. Good. In addition to this, they are available. So you're talking about here, talking about they, keep going, they are available at a cheaper price. At a cheaper price due to availabilities. Careful. Like always check the essay before you send it, because you should see here you've got words the same in the same sentence. That doesn't really work. Due to their natural supply. I know you're going to carry on to that in the next sentence. Okay, for example, hydro and solar are boundless as they're drawn from nature and there's two of them, are inexpensive as compared to electricity generated from coal and gas. Good, that's the point. Therefore, it's clear that owing to its non-pollutant nature and low cost, it is looked at as an efficient substitute by advanced as well as emerging economies. Good, okay. Good. So that paragraph works nicely. Well done. Just be careful on those little noun-verb agreements and that sentence structure. Okay. So, for example, increasingly popular hydro and solar. So add in a little bit of extra here. Add in something that the examiner can give you marks for. Don't just aim at the kind of basic level. Aim up. Aim really high. Yeah. Try and really push yourself on the vocabulary here. So on the other hand, So although there's a case for sustainable energy being an alternative, you'd have to have that alternative, the argument of it being a threat to energy security cannot be understated. Good, very nice structure, you've got that perfectly right. In order to cater to the necessities of citizens, military of a country refuse to share their resources to others who could not produce sufficient amounts of it. In order to cater to the necessities of their citizens, so in order to cater to the necessities of their citizens, military of countries, it means certain countries, refuse to share their resources to others who cannot produce sufficient amounts of it. Okay, so you need to have the military of certain countries maybe could refuse, not always, but could refuse to share their resources to others who could not produce sufficient amounts of it. Okay, this leads to sudden changes of supply-demand balance. Yes, China imports high amounts of thermal power from neighbouring countries due to environment laws of having a cap on production of non-renewable, which oversaw a halt from them citing insufficiency, which I wouldn't say oversaw, which maybe resulted in a halt from them citing insufficiency for their own requirements. Thus, it's possible to state that migrating to natural resources might pose a threat to several nations' supply chain, I would say. Because you've mentioned certainty before, but that would work, supply chain. To conclude, despite going menace to the surety of energy to many nations, in my opinion, the long-term benefits, habitat and short-term advantages, people eclipses associated in using green power. Okay, good. Long-term benefits to people eclipses the disadvantages. Okay, good. Nice conclusion there. Well done. So you've written two good answers. Okay, for me, what I'm worried about here is that there's some quite basic mistakes in terms of the organisation of your sentences, and also lots of little mistakes. Maybe you ran out of time and didn't check it carefully. But remember, every single little mistake counts. Yeah, so things when you just haven't got the noun and the verb agreement right, that counts against you. And if you do that a few times in the essay, in the exam, the examiner will definitely take off marks. So make sure you have time to check. Okay, you've written quite a long answer here, but you've done really well. So you've got some good arguments in there. Really good luck on Saturday. I hope you get exactly the result you want. Go back on some of your previous corrections. It's a really good way to revise. Watch them again. See if you're making the same mistakes lots of times, and then you'll know what to avoid when you get to the exam. But really good luck.